Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record live at 2 p.m. Eastern Time every Monday. If you enjoy this video, hit that like button, and if you want to submit to be on the show, take a look at the information in the description. All right, so you got a hand from your channel is called Mariano Loves Poker, right?
It's just Mariano Poker,
Oh,
but
just
close
Mariano
enough.
Poker. Oh, okay, sorry. Mariano Poker. Was it called Mariano Loves Poker at one time? Maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know. But
No, no.
oh,
I think you're just fantasizing, Bart. It was
oh,
never called that.
possibly. Well, Mariano does a vlog, and it's interesting, right? Because you play a lot of sort of $5 to $10 blind games in LA. So of course that's where I cut
Yeah,
my teeth, right? And sometimes you'll still play like in the
yeah,
500 cap game, like at the Commerce, right, in Hollywood Park and things like that.
yeah. Once in a while, I've been spending a lot of time a little further out at a place called Morongo.
Yeah, okay. I never actually ended up never ended up going to Morongo, but sort of the lowdown on some of
Yeah,
the Indian casinos is that you only need to be 18 to play there, right?
yeah, yeah. So the dynamic's kind of different. There's like a bunch of younger guys who are just trying it for the first few times.
Yeah. And actually there's some really good players that like are in their early 30s that I heard started out at like Morongo. Like if anybody's seen the old school live with Bike, like Brian Kim, I think he played there when he was 18 and sort of worked his way up. So, anyways, you got a hand for us here?
Uh, yeah. So this is actually from Morongo 2-5,
Okay. What's the
which is
structure,
a
the
five
buy-in
hundred
structure?
dollar. It's 200 to 500.
200 to 500. Okay, so it's a low cap structure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so in this hand, there's a straddle on, and the player first to act limps in, and it
Uh,
folds to me on the button.
okay.
It folds to me on the button, and I had black aces,
Mm-hmm.
and I have around 3,000 at this point, and he has 2,000.
Okay, so you're
So we're pretty deep.
all right. So you're really deep. So you have a straddle for 10. So it's 5 5 10. One limp, right? Under the gun.
Yeah, and I make it 45 on the button with black aces.
And a hero ace ace 2K
And
effective makes it 45. Okay, sounds good.
yeah, and it folds back to him, and he makes the call. So we're gonna go heads up.
Okay, so pot's right around 100 probably.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And it comes down Ace Jack 7 with the Ace Jack of Hearts and the 7 of Spades.
Ace of hearts, jack of hearts, seven of spades, and you have two black aces. So obviously you've got top set here. You guys are very deep for this game, but I'm liking it quite a bit.
Yeah, sure. So so he checks to me, and I put in a bet of 40,
Okay.
and he calls.
All right. GG calls. Any backstory with this guy at all, or?
Um, Not much aside from when I was first learning poker. I
Yeah.
played with him a few times, like when I was a total novice, and I remember him always having a bunch of chips, but I haven't seen him in months, and now he doesn't strike me as strong of a player as I used to think he was.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting to note. Yep.
Yeah. So, turn card comes the 8 of Hearts.
Okay, so the front door comes in, and one of the things before you even go
Yep.
on here that's kind of interesting is that at this point you always have to be careful when you flop top set and there's a draw out there and the draw comes in to the point where I would almost be comfortable. You'd rather have middle set than top set in a
Sure.
situation like that, and that's because you just if you had middle set, there's just a lot more other top pair combinations that the guy's going to continue to call down with. His hand isn't quite weighted towards draws. If you look at the overall combinations, and this, I mean, he doesn't have to have a flush, but and a lot of times this is really critical in single raise pots where the preflop ranges are not as defined. When you have top set and there's a draw out there and the draw comes in, if you just sum up all the total combinations, your opponent's going to be heavily weighted towards that draw that comes in because of the fact that you just have you cover the board in terms of the top pair. So you have to be you have to be careful. Now, obviously, you're in position to the point where you would probably check from out of position here, like as a reflection of this, and you very well might check
Yeah.
behind here too. And like for example, if this guy leads, I don't know what's going to happen, but if he leads out, obviously you just have a call. Did he check to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he checked,
Yeah.
and I thought my hand was still too strong to check back here. Although facing a check raise wouldn't be great, I decided to continue betting for value.
I mean, you certainly don't have to check back here,
Yeah.
and you can call raises. You can obviously call across raises here too, because of the fact that obviously you have equity against a flush. I definitely don't mind betting. You're going to continue to get called by single paired hearts that might have been some of those. I mean, depending on how wide this guy's going to be playing, right? Single paired hearts are going to be playing on those. Like if he has like a king queen with the king of hearts, something like that. Also,
Yeah.
too, in newer school poker, like guys will not. A lot of guys are just going to call. It's funny because you might even have smaller flushes call if the guy's defending with the suited connector. And if the guy's got the nuts, he might not even
Yeah.
raise because he thinks he's trapping you. So, I definitely don't mind a bet in position, especially the weaker the competition is and the more that they'll call down. So, gets checked to you, and how much do you bet here?
Yeah, I agree. I bet 110,
Okay.
and he called fairly quickly.
I mean, I might go a
So
little
now
bit
the pot's
large.
like 400.
I mean, I might go a little bit larger than that. I mean, you're betting 110 and a 280, right? Like if I've done the math out correctly. I mean, I might go 150,
Um,
200, something like that.
no,
Oh,
the
pot's
pot was
180.
180, I
Sorry,
believe.
my bad. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good then. You're good. For some reason, I had 280 down. So you bet 110 and you get a call, and now the pot's 400.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So he has around 1,500 behind, and like you said, the pot's 400, and the
Yeah.
river comes down a deuce of spades.
Okay. So
And
so again,
interestingly,
you've got black aces.
go ahead.
You have black
Yeah.
aces. You've three bet pre-flop. Ace, Jack, 7, two hearts, check. C bet 40 call. This is for our podcast people because we turn this into a podcast. By the way, if you guys want to watch this entire live stream after the fact, you have to subscribe to the channel and click notifications on because I'm making it unlisted. But you can always listen to Crush Live Collins as a podcast. The pot's 180. The turn's the 8 of hearts, so it brings in the front door flush draw. Check. Hero bets 110. Call. Pot's 400. River's the deuce of spades. Okay, now what happens?
So here he decides to lead, and he bets 200.
Wow, okay, so V1 leads now. So he check calls flop, check calls turn in this 3-bet pot, and now he leads for 200 into what is 400 here when the front door, when the board doesn't pair. The question for I am assuming that you're having here is that whether or not you can get away with a raise.
Yeah. Yeah. Raise folding just for pure value, I think was kind of what I was debating here.
But here's the thing. This is where I think we both agree that betting against an opponent at this level on the turn is perfectly okay. Here on the river, though, this is what I was talking about before. Like I would much rather make that play, Mariano, if you had like pocket jacks. Because if you had like pocket
Okay.
jacks, like the guy's gonna have some other hands like you don't block like aces up types of hands. He could be blocking with an ace, but I think when you specifically have pocket aces here, you have a clear just call. When the hearts come in. Now, occasionally you might be having a guy possibly just sort of block bet with like ace king ace queen, but that's going to be far more unlikely when you hold aces as opposed to if you were to hold like pocket jacks.
Yeah, I agree. I think this spot also comes down to kind of what you mentioned is how strong the opposition is here, and against anyone who's like super solid, I would never consider raising here.
Yeah.
But this guy was like, I think actually fairly bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that he could be block betting with a bunch of stuff here, even though I block a lot of top pairs.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, maybe on paper it's not correct, but I actually did end up raising to. I made it small. I think I did 550. It says here.
So Hero raises to 550. And actually, I wouldn't even consider that really small on the river, to be honest with you. I mean, this guy's going to have to be
Okay.
really, really. I mean, I was thinking when you were saying small, you made it like 450. Listen, I've seen some really, really ridiculously bad play at the $5 blind level in LA. Like, it's atrocious. Like, if they ever did a live stream, bad play as in, like, the players are terrible. Like, if they, and especially in the
Yeah.
$500 cap games, like, if they ever did an actual live stream of, like, a Hollywood Park game or a Commerce 500 cap game, people would be fucking amazed. But then again, the thing is that I don't even know. Now you've put in a lot of time in those games, but I don't even know if those games are really all that beatable when you take a step back and look at the drop. But let's talk about that after this hand. So you raise, or at the conclusion of this hand, because I do want to ask you about that. So you raise to 550, but the point that I'm making is this guy's got to be really really bad to call here. You know what I'm saying? Like to call with like an
Yeah.
ace king, ace queen. What ended up happening?
He ended nothing major. He ended up showing the 9 of hearts and then folding. So I'm not sure what that meant.
He showed the 9 of hearts and then he folded. So
Yeah.
the
So
only
I have no idea.
the only way that, so I guess he could have had 9-9, right? That's just bluffing at the end, right? So that's just a bluff.
Yeah.
He'd have
Or
to
like
be
somehow ace 9 offsuit.
ace nine off from, and then just basically, I keep saying it's a, yeah. I mean, then just basically like, you know, this is not a three bet pot. I might have said it was. No, I guess I didn't say it was a three bet pot. It's a straddle pot. But yeah, I mean, I guess you might see a guy like limp call with ace nine off from under the gun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally. I mean, it's pretty bad. But I do. I mean, I like the idea of what you're talking about. But I do think that the raise is a little bit on the thin side. And but I mean, hey,
Yeah.
I mean, just because of the fact that you have top side, I think that you might want to do it more with a hand like Jack Jack. But I really appreciate the hand, but I do want to ask you one other thing here too. So the more I've been thinking about this is like, when I was back in LA, uh, this past fall when we were living in Vegas and now we're in Austin, Texas, of course, I made this tweet about how I was at the bike and I was playing 5-5 and like one guy open limped cut off and I checked the small blind and it went to showdown and I won with like middle pair and they took $7 out of the pot because in LA it's a flat drop.
Yeah.
And now that I play in Texas, which is a time collection at all levels, especially if when I'm playing Big O like as a split pot game, I really, really
Yeah.
notice. I'm like, wow, this is so much of a better deal. And then I, take a step back and I was like, man, how much money was I paying in LA to play? So even at the $5 blind level, it's all the same basically, the flat drop, right? So I believe it's five and now six on the turn plus one for the bad beat jackpot at all levels. And
Yep.
do you think that how much can you beat the $5 blind 500 cap game for? And what I mean, obviously the game's beatable, but it seems to me in my head, especially if you win a fair amount of pots, like the amount of drop that you're paying probably is somewhere around 50% of your win rate. Meaning that like if you win
Yeah.
$40 an hour in that game, if there was no drop, you would probably win like I would say uh no, I guess that would work like that. Yeah, I guess 60 to 80. I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah. Yeah. You're pretty spot on. The best. I don't want to really like disclose my exact win rate, but
Sure.
the best players at the Morongo 2-5 500 cap is exactly what you said, around $40 to $50 an hour. So 8 to 10 bigs per hour is like really like the best of the best. I think
Yeah.
just given, like you said, the drop is just so brutal, and especially with the cap being only 100 bigs. And yeah, I think that's like the best you can do, and it certainly does affect how much you can win.
So if you make like 8 bigs per hour, right, which is like $40,
Yeah.
and the drop is basically like let's just make it even and say like 1 point. Well, it depends. It ranges, right? It could be 1.2 to 1.4. but let's just say
Yeah.
it's like 1.2, and like you win like 4 pots. Because if you're going to be that much of a winning player, you're probably going to win 4 pots. That's like 5 big blinds. So that's $25.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you're looking
Yeah.
at it, you're
Yeah.
like, it's
That's
huge.
spot on.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like 40. So it's basically taking, I would say, 35 to 40% of a win rate non-rake with that drop, which is
Yeah.
just
Exactly.
enormous when you think about it, you know. But
Yeah. It's brutal. You're
yeah, yeah,
spot on.
yeah. All right, buddy. Yeah, check out Mariano Poker over on YouTube, and I appreciate it. Thanks for the call, man. As
Thanks, Bart.
always. All
Talk to you
right.
soon.
If you like what you've seen here, please hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this call in hand, hit the like button down below. To check out crushlivepoker.com, click on the link in the description. Use the code YTA300 to get the first 30 days for free.